All right, so in today's video, I've had a thought about not the future of Chainsaw Man because I imagine this series is going to be fine, but I've just been thinking about if and when Chainsaw Man were to ever get a console game because I do think if Chainsaw Man got a console game, it wouldn't do like numbers for the series, but it would be a way for more people to basically find the series and because some people find stuff from playing console games or mobile games, but we're just here to talk about like if Chainsaw Man got a game, what type would it be? And I have some ideas pulled up on a script actually, so that way I don't lose my track of my thoughts on here. So with that out of the way, let's talk about if Chainsaw Man were to get a console game, what type would they be and if they would work. So the first one I have on here, and that I think literally any type of game, any type of series could get, is a Muso game. If you don't know what Muso games are, essentially, Muso games are to where you are one character, or there can be you can be in teams, but most of the time you're just one character going around defeating a bunch of nameless enemies, and then a boss appears at the end of the episode, chapter, or whatever you want to call it. I think this could work really well with Chainsaw Man because obviously the story is about getting rid of devils, and I think if they wanted to, they could just make up some nonsense devils to just have in the story, just running around rampant or whatever. Even though I guess there's two ways they could do this. There's two ways. The first way they could do it is just make the story non-canon, to where basically, it's just I don't know. Denji like wakes up one day and it's like, oh my gosh, there's like a bunch of devils just running around Tokyo, and we gotta exterminate all of them or whatever. They would make it work. Okay, if they were to do this, they would make it work somehow. They would probably just have it to where it's like that, or if they did the canon route, it would just be obviously going from episode one of Chainsaw Man, probably up until the end of season one. It just depends on when this will come out, because I imagine they probably should release something for it now while the series is at its peak because of the Reese movie, but they could wait until they officially start to animate season two of it, because you know because if they go the canon route with this and they make a Muso game, there's that game is going to be very short, because season one of Chainsaw Man is very short. It's only, I think, 12 episodes, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's 12. But yeah, they could do that. But I think for the sake of everyone, I would imagine that they would just do like a non-canon route or something. Obviously, you would unlock characters as you went on. Reese would probably, if they made this, Reese would probably be, I don't know, DLC. So it would be like Reese, Angel Devil, and Beam would be the DLC characters, and that would probably be it. That would probably be the entire game. And honestly, it's probably not the best type of game for them to make, but it could be something, so that way at least Chainsaw Man players have something to play. Because as it stands right now, we don't have nothing. There's not a mobile game. There's no console game. There's nothing. So basically, as a Chainsaw Man fan, the only thing you can do is just read the manga, rewatch season one in the movie, and that's basically it. Like, you don't have nothing else to play. And I think if they made a console game, it would bring more people in, because like, imagine you're just, I don't know, at GameStop or something. I don't know why you'd be shopping at GameStop, but let's say you're on, I don't know, you're checking Steam, and then you see that they like released a Chainsaw Man game, and you didn't know about the story of Chainsaw Man, so you're just like, oh, this is interesting. This guy is named Denji. He can like turn into Chainsaw Man, whatever that is. So you play the game and you fall in love with it, and then you're like, oh, so this is based off of like an anime called Chainsaw Man. Okay, cool. I think I'll give this a spin. So then you watch Chainsaw Man, you fall in love with season one, you love all the characters. Power is your favorite character because she's stinky and she's funny. You're like, oh yeah, man. I'll go watch the movie, because probably by the time this would come out, the movie would be out of theaters and probably animated into season two, or however they're gonna do that. And then boom, Chainsaw Man now has a new fan, and that fan can go talk to their friends about it, and then they can go through the same thing, and then Chainsaw Man gets more fans. They're bringing in more money and all that other good stuff. So I think a very good idea for them to just make some type of console game for Chainsaw Man before the hype is gone. Which, I mean, it's never going to be gone, but you get what I mean. The other one, the other game type that could work with this is a Devil May Cry game. And I say this because I genuinely believe if they were to make a Chainsaw Man Devil May Cry type game, I think it would do numbers because of the fact that in Devil May Cry, characters have a thing called a devil trigger. Well, at least the main characters do. So the main characters in Devil May Cry, Dante, Nero, V, Virgil, Nero, if I didn't say Nero, but all those guys have a devil trigger. And what that is basically they can turn into devils, like a devil form. And obviously Chainsaw Man in the show, people have contracts with devils, and some people, if they're hybrids, can turn into devils. So I genuinely think that them just doing that could work amazing with it, because imagine this. Imagine this same situation. You're on Steam, or I don't know. I don't even think they would do commercials for this because I have not seen an anime game commercial in so long. But let's just say for this one, you're watching TV or whatever, and then you see them announce, or like at a game show awards, they announce Chainsaw Man the video game, and it's like a Devil May Cry type of game, and it's like, dude, this looks so cool. And so you wait for it to come out. It's perfect. It's peak, and it brings in more. Same thing with the first one. It brings in more fans, and the same thing happens. Like I can just picture this being so well because I can just picture, like, I don't know why, I can just picture Denji fighting Sword Man. Is that his name? Sword Man? Sword guy? Katana Man. Sorry, Katana Man. I can just see Denji fighting Katana Man, but in my mind, I'm seeing it as Dante when he fought Virgil in Devil May Cry 5. I don't know why I have that thought in my head, but for some reason, that has been in my head for like the last month, and I just think it would do so well. I don't know. Once again, I don't know if the story would be canon or not, because once again, as it stands right now, the anime for Chainsaw Man is very short. We just have 24 episodes or 12 and a movie. So I would hope they would do the non-canon round, just make up a story or something. But even if they didn't, and they just did like, or maybe what they could do, they could do something like with One Piece Pirate Warriors. I should have mentioned this in the first game, but with the Muso game, let me say this first, and I'll go back to this one. So with the Muso game for One Piece, when Pirate Warriors 3 and 4 came out, obviously those arcs that they were based off of didn't wrap up. So what they did, One Piece Pirate Warriors 3 and 4 followed the beats of the story until the ending, to where, like, in Pirate Warriors 3, I don't remember how it ended because it's been a while since I played that. But I know it didn't end the way that it ended when we got to that part in the show. I know in Pirate Warriors 4 it didn't, because we didn't know if Luffy was getting Gear 5 when Pirate Warriors 4 came out. Or maybe we did. Anyways, maybe it wasn't animated, but we didn't have that ending in the game. We had it to where it was like Luffy was fighting Kaido with all of his friends. I'm pretty sure like Kizaru and Akainu helped him out. I know Sabo was there. Basically, it was just like, friendship is magic, Kaido. I'm gonna defeat you, and that's how it ended until we got like more DLC for it. But I do think with the Devil May Cry Chainsaw Man game, they could do something like that to basically follow everything up until the end of season 1, and then for like the rest of the game just have a bunch of non-canon stuff. Maybe even make like some new character for the game or something, like how a lot of games do. I don't think they would ever implement it into Chainsaw Man, but they could do that, in my personal opinion. And I think it would do numbers. I would definitely buy it because, like I said, just the concept of a devil trigger, but being, you turn either into Chainsaw Man, or if you're like a human like Aki or Kenobi, your devil trigger would be, for Aki, it would be him summoning his Nue. Wait, that's JJK. Cone, it would be that. For Kenobi, it would just be her moving faster or something. I don't know. They would figure it out no matter what if they did this, but I think it would do really well. And I would love that. Like if someone could actually just like, I don't know, maybe just make that with like just use Devil May Cry 5 and just like somehow do that, that would be fantastic in my eyes. But that's just another thing that they could do. Another one, and I think all of these could work, but I think the next two I'm going to talk about could work. Okay, maybe not the last one, but this one could definitely be something that could work. So what they also could do, they could do like a Xenoverse type of game for Chainsaw Man. So basically what that entails is you make your own character and you're working for you're a part of the Devil Hunters Association, whatever it's called. You're doing that, and you go out on missions with like Aki, Power, Denji, whatever, and you know, I think that could really work. The only thing is, they would have to nail this out of the park, because I would hate for them to basically make something like this, but it has the same, like, I can't explain this. Like, basically, like, the idea sounds cool. But they One Punch Man a hero nobody knows it. And what I mean by that is, that game had the same concept as Chainsaw. Well, not the same concept, but basically in that game you were able to create your own hero, and you had to fight some characters from One Punch Man, but the game just was really bad. And I would hope that if Chainsaw Man were to get this, they wouldn't half-ass it. They would put in a lot of time and effort into the game to make it really good, so that way it leaves a good impression on people. So that way, if they decide to make another Chainsaw Man game or something, people are like, okay, Chainsaw Chainsaw Man Xenoverse was really good, so I'm gonna stick around for whatever else they make. And I think it'd be really good. I know there are some people in the world who would love to work for Makima. I know there's people out there. Denji's one of them. But yeah, I just think that could work. The only thing about that I don't know how they would do is, obviously, in Chainsaw Man, people can't fly. Okay, this isn't Dragon Ball. This isn't shows to where people can fly. So I don't know how they would implement like the flight and stuff. But I'm sure if they were to do this, they could figure it out. But yeah, that's another one that they could do. And the final one, now this one I don't know how they would like work this out, because I don't know, but I'm just gonna say this, and then maybe I'll think about it later. But I think another type of game they could make for a Chainsaw Man is a Monster Hunter game. And it would basically be the same concept as a Xenoverse game, except obviously instead of, you would still just go on missions, but maybe you would just go solo or something, and you would obviously go out like the different parts of Tokyo or whatever, hunting monsters, and you have to make your own OC. And like, I don't know, maybe if you're about to die or something, a random devil hunter can like help you or something, and you can bond with them that way, even though that's like Xenoverse kind of. But I really don't know. I really don't know how. That's why I said I don't know how this one would work. And this one, I don't know how it would work, but I think they would obviously nail this if they did it. But I just think that the idea of that would just be so cool, especially because obviously this would not be canon, because like there's not big devils in Chainsaw Man yet, because I'm not gonna spoil. But yeah, I think they would definitely figure it out if they were to do this, and I think it would do really good, because just imagine like you're playing as a character and you have to go hunt like a big, like basically picture the Tomato Devil, but just like bigger, and like while you're hunting it, another devil pops up and is basically just like Monster Hunter except Chainsaw Man. I think that would be something really cool that they could do. And I don't know why they haven't tried to do that. Or, I guess in another way, they could also just do, God Eater is essentially Monster Hunter, but anime. So they could also do that. They could take that approach too, since, yeah. I didn't even think about this. They could also just do Dark Souls. A Dark Souls Chainsaw Man game. Obviously, once again, you would have to make your own OC, and you would just be playing Chainsaw Man, but in the idea of Dark Souls. I think that would be really cool because they could make some pretty sick devils if they did this. Well, that's crazy how I just thought about that. But yeah, I definitely do think that Chainsaw Man should get its own console game. That's good, mind you, because if they want to, they could put out a Chainsaw Man console game tomorrow, and it could be half-assed, like a lot of console anime games that have came out in like the last 10 years, since a lot of them, the majority of them, are not good. And it's not good for them to do that for games that series that don't have any more representation besides the show. Like imagine a world where One Punch Man, a hero nobody knows, and it was actually good. That would bring in more people to watch One Punch Man, and it would make people more money, the company more money, and they probably could have made a second one, and it probably would have been successful. But they took the cheap route and made the game like really bad. Like the idea of stuff was in there because there One Punch Man, yeah. You guys know One Punch Man from the show One Punch Man, but Saitama was in the game obviously, and he had a funny quirk to where, since the show is called One Punch Man, and Saitama's whole gimmick is basically he finishes thing in one punch, man. So imagine the idea. What they did for Saitama is basically the second Saitama got to the field, basically if he punched you once, you were dead. And I think that goofy mechanic in the game was something that could have been good, like if they made a second one or something. But they fumbled the bag, and that's why now that game is delisted everywhere and you can't play it no more. And I just think if they left it in the oven a little bit more longer and didn't do the way they did it, it could have been something good, and it could have been something that more companies would probably do. Like, more companies would probably want to be like, you know what? A Hero Nobody Knows was a really good idea, and now, I want to make Bleach, a Soul Reaper no one knows, or My Hero Academia, the hero that no one knows. Like, it could have inspired some more games to be like that, but since they didn't, like, approach it good, that's why the game is dead. But yeah, I don't know. This is something I've been, like, pondering on for a very long time, and I just thought today, I was like, you know what, man? Let me just sit down and jot down some ideas and kind of talk about it and see how people feel about this, because I think the stuff that I mentioned could be incredibly good if they did it the proper way. I think if they just half-assed it, then obviously, you probably would have people make content on it, but after that honeymoon phase, no one's not going to care, and then the game is going to get delisted, like how a lot of other games, how this has happened too. So, with that out of the way, what do you guys think? If you guys were able to make a Chainsaw Man game, what type would you make? Do you think that the ones that I mentioned are a good idea? And are you excited for Chainsaw Man whenever season 2 gets greenlit and gets animated? And who's your favorite Chainsaw Man character? If you're a manga reader, don't answer that. Or if you do, just say anime only characters. For me, Denji. Denji's my GOAT, but unfortunately, he is forever traumatized. But with that out of the way, I'm going to wrap up here. Thank you for listening, and I will see you all in the next video whenever this gets uploaded.